Hello, my name is Mel Ho, and I'm with Tested, and this year, 2024, I'm gonna show you my favorite things. Okay, so the very first thing I wanna showcase to you guys is actually these little tiny pens here. These jelly roll pens, gel pens, they're quite great. You can get them in Walgreens, you can get them in corner stores, you can get them in art shops. And I've made all of this from a single jelly pen. They come in various sizes, 5, 8, and 10. And so you can do thick lines, really fine, thin shading, little dot stuff like this. Perfect with them. They become my favorite things because honestly, you know, it's hard sometimes. I mostly do digital painting, but that's like a whole involved process that requires the computer. It requires my giant Cintiq. It requires the motivation to open both those things and also Photoshop. But you know what doesn't? You know, a notebook, a little piece of paper, and jellies. So I have sort of a routine now where I'll go to my local coffee shop, I'll take a little sip, I'll take out my now sketchbook, and I will do little doodles before I go to work. 20-minute doodle. But it makes Mel like really happy. Like the more I draw, the happier I am. And so this has been kind of a really nice tick that I've been doing since probably September, and I've been really enjoying it. This notebook I also want to maybe bring up is, it's not like typical notebooks, as one would say. You could say, ah, look, it's blue. It's not only just blue, it's indigo. I got this book at this place called Top Drawer. They did a collaboration with a French company called La Molly Paris, and it is indigo dyed chiffon paper, 100% chiffon. Wow, fancy. It's very fancy. I got suckered in. They got me. You know, you go to those like corner stores and department stores, and they sell you this lifestyle, and you're like, oh, I could be this person who draws on this book, and I did. But I really like it. The paper, the textures, they're quite lovely. I have given this book to certain friends so they could sketch on it too and enjoy the experience. But it's great. One of my friends is like, oh, maybe we should get into bookbinding because we can make a bunch of these. I don't know. Don't know. Maybe in the future that might be another obsession. But for now, this is my current sketchbook and I absolutely adore it. Definitely a new favorite thing. All right, so just to like sort of tidy up this area, I also wanted to showcase 2 books that are also part of this sort of foray of things. Say you're an aspiring artist that, especially when it comes to illustrations, and you start out with something like Naruto or Sonic the Hedgehog, and you're like, no, it needs to be darker. It needs to feel like my soul must be shown to the world, but like anatomically correct. Well, I've got the book for you. I've got 2 books for you. Andrew Loomis. Andrew Loomis is the guy. He is your guy to really cool, hyper-realistic heads, hands. He even has books on like body proportions as well as books on creative illustrations, especially if you're kind of going for that old school like Hollywood 50s style illustrations. He is the man. Yeah. I would say I've learned out of like all the anatomy books I've explored, out of all of the naked Greek paint like statues I've had to observe to draw, his is like the most intuitive, the most accessible, the most like, it's actually not that intimidating. It's like one of the least intimidating books I've ever come across. Mostly because he just like kind of approaches things in a very systematic way. There's a lot of books that will also do the same thing. They'll be like, oh yeah, draw a circle and then draw this, blah, 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 blah. But he kind of goes about it down to things like draw like a ball and then put a nail in that ball. Oh, look at that. That looks kind of like a nose. You know, it's very simple things that you go like, oh, will this actually like pay off? Will it work out? Will I be as good as him? But I will say I got better. I think it's, you know, it's a harder journey. Like, it's, you know, it's going to take you a couple of years. It took me a couple of years. Now to follow that up, this was introduced to me by one of my friends, especially since he noticed I was doing all these doodles at work and the coffee shop and things. He was basically recommending like sort of a more contemporary modern version of like kind of the Loomis method, but like better. I don't know, that's objectable. Let's not say better. Let us say different, interesting, more in tune with the ADHD mind. So Jung Hyun Suk, I probably butchered that. He created this book called Stonehouse's Anatomy. And it's amazing. I mean, like his art style is freaking gorgeous. It's like this combination of like expressionist-y stuff, but then also realism. And he covers everything, from the eyes, the head, to the evolution of our human body. So like even prior to that. And he's kind of a bit of a nerd. He's like a comic, he writes it all in like sort of comic book form. And then he also distills the information of anatomy through narratives and stories through this comic book style. And at least for me, I have always struggled with the more boring parts about studying anatomy, which is just like all the Latin names and the formalities and the classes, and it just doesn't stick because I'm like, I don't care. Like, I mean, I do. I care enough to make the realism part, but I don't understand why it is the way that it is, if that makes sense. This helps explain it in a way that's a little bit more approachable than like other anatomy books that are a bit more formal. His is like, his whole spiel is like, humans have evolved in a way for survival, and then we made technology, and that doesn't fully imply, but the shape of us is defined by evolution. He kind of talks about it in that sort of way. So you like sort of learn a lot of biology facts as you're reading through about just like the shape of how you would draw a skull. And so I found it really fascinating because there's just like little fun facts that apparently I guess every 5th grader in like biology probably learned, and I didn't. So I think it's a really great book. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. I've been like chewing through these chapters, like taking notes in my notebook, and I'm really hoping that it improves my art. And so yeah, these are 2 books that I've been studying pretty fervently this year, and I wanted to recommend them. On to shiny stuff. Let's talk about shiny things, all right? So this is really just a showcase for a buffing compound. Mother's buffing compound. Not only does it got like a really cool like lid, you know, there's no shine like Mother's. It's true. There's no shine like Mother's. I've been using this quite frequently for a lot of metalworking projects. In my new job, I'm surrounded by a lot of really talented sort of machinist-y type of folks, which is usually not in my wheelhouse. But they've inspired me and have also pushed me to like kind of take my skill sets further, and have recommended me really cool things like this Mother compound. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. I want to showcase a project that I made for my nefarious wife. It is a little gift that I gave her to appease her from stuff. I originally got this mirror, this compact mirror, which I will only show the mirror side. You will not see the other side. You will see the mirror. This is cool, right? Very cool mirror. I got this on eBay. It actually said Mother's on it. I removed that. I took it out. I decided to model her name, initials. I cut that out of brass using this guy, a jeweler saw. It sucked. I wouldn't recommend it, but also this is what jewelers do to make jewelry. So you kind of, you know, you gotta roll with the tools. And then I sanded it like a ton. I just sanded until it was very, very smooth. I sanded the surface, and then I did brazing for the very first time with my friend. It was awesome. I over splattered, and so I had to sand more of the solder down. And then I got into the Mother's, and it's like a little, you know, it's just this white stuff. You get a little microfiber cloth, and you just take a little dollop, or you can get excessive with it. It's just you'll then have like a bunch of white stuff. You just take a little something, and then you just like, you just rub that on, and you shine it. It gets all like dark in there. You just gotta really like rub. Then there's a little bit very shiny. And then you're like, wow, I did something. That's cool. I made this thing shiny. It's lovely. And the same thing goes for this mirror project I'm working on. I'm gonna be engraving this in glass etching, you know, per sneak peek preview. There's this backing that I ended up cleaning up. What could be useful to make it look shiny? Mother's. So like a little something, yeah. Rub and buff. This mirror. Shiny. Ooh. It's pretty exciting. Yeah, metalworking's fun, guys. Like, I mean, it's scary sometimes, but I mean, this stuff is a little bit more approachable. I'm learning a lot from it. I've been really appreciating a lot of my friends in this endeavor. I'm hoping to make more jewelry and weird things with it. But yeah, I recommend this because, like, yeah, Mother's has not done me wrong. Okay. On to the next thing. So I got into drag recently in June during Pride. I was like Tetsuo Iron Man. I had like a drill dick and everything. It was amazing. And I am hooked. I'm like hooked on like entertainment, performance, all that jazz. Because it's like you got costuming, you got lip sync, you got performance, you got dance, you got it all. And I have been ambitiously pursuing my next number since like September, October-ish. Had to take a break for Halloween costuming, but I've been working on these flower prototypes for this Bjork number that I want to do. And this is sort of like this is like V2, V3. It's close to the final version. My first ones, I started out with just literally origami paper that I like taped together on a plain cable mechanism, RC plain cable mechanism. And I was just like super inspired by Casey Curran's work. He did a lot of amazing mechanisms over his career as an artist. And I always loved the fact that his mechanisms looked very elegant, simple, and also light, organic looking, not over engineered. And so I took one of his, like, I observed one of his like flower designs. I was like, oh, let's see if I can figure out something similar. And yeah, it pans out pretty well. After that, I made a laser cut pattern. I laser cut the fabric. This is like some sort of mesh fabric. And then I started experimenting with that. And then again, this is the benefit of having a lot of badass maker friends that like, you know, look at you noodling in the corner and they're like, oh, that's cool. I have opinions. And you're like, okay, cool. Well, you know, give me your opinions then. And so I got to thank this to both my friends, Jordan Bunker and Dave Sharps. But basically, I had to figure out a way to sort of mass produce these. And they were going like, I mean, you could buy these RC plain kits. Or you could try to figure out like, you know, this is just cabling. This is just like some smooth coated cabling. And if you could figure it out to work within like, you know, a Bowden tube for a 3D printer and these little fasteners, you know, these little tube clickers, not only is it modular, which is such a great thing, it's also very cheap to make. So we did that, and yeah, they cut the bomb in half. It was kind of great. And then I just got a little nut on the other side. And I don't know, it's just a lot more polished now, and I get to have more fun with like the actual like maybe designs. So this is going to be like the core design. I might dye these. I might cut interesting, intricate patterns to experiment with sort of like how much can I mess with the structure before it no longer opens and closes, you know, these little things. And then I'm going to slap this in onto a model, and I'm going to probably start to design the actual like corset piece that this is all going to attach to, and then drive it with motors, because why not, right? Why not? So anyway, I'm pitching this idea, you know, I'm hoping to get this done December, not January, but some point it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna perform it, and it's gonna be great. I'm stoked. Yeah, you know, come through if you happen to be in the Bay. You might find that there's a show hosted by Mr. E. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we shall now talk about the mask in the corner. This mask I actually made last year, or I didn't really I painted this mask, and I did the finishing for this mask, and I did the casting for the nose of this mask. But yeah, upon popular bullying, I have been encouraged, lightly encouraged to discuss it, because I should be proud of this, and I guess I am proud of it. This was a mask that I basically painted for a prop making workshop that I went to in October-ish of last year in London by this production company called Machinarium. They had advertisements all over Instagram. My friend was like, I'm signing up for the class. And I was like, I have no jobs in between my current gig. So I'll go with you, because, you know, idle hands, I want to paint something. So I ended up going to London. I ended up going to Pinewood Studios, which was amazing. That was really cool. And every day for that week, I was going in there mold making, I was spray painting stuff, I was airbrushing. I was basically doing all the stuff that like I lean heavily on my amazing co-collaborator, Kate Sabaker on. And I like, not only was I incredibly humbled, Kate, you're great. It was also really fun and incredibly challenging for a person that like mostly lives off beeps and boops and kind of is terminally online on a computer. This was great. So I painted this nose to resemble porcelain, because I thought it'd be really cool, and it feels very cyberpunky, like this kind of cyberpunk aesthetic. And then, you know, everybody's like gets into like kintsugi and stuff. And I was like, I want to take my take on kintsugi. So I ended up actually scraping the surface of this, this resin cast. And then we sprayed this all down a million times with airbrushing to get this like sort of porcelain texture. And then I rubbed and buffed a bunch of gold on it. And yeah, you know, I was really not excited about halfway through. I was just like, oh God, this is not like coming together. I don't know what to do with this. And then like I dropped it and then like the paint got all messy and I was like, crap, this is it. This is it for me. And I'm glad I persisted. This is an example of being persistent with the things that you want. Just keep working at it. Because like the worst thing that could happen is it lights on fire. And even then, that's at least entertaining to an extent. And then you do it again, and you do it again until maybe you are good or whatever. You made a thing, and it's your thing, right? So I am proud of this. So you know, again, thanks, Lee, for the aggressive encouragement. The last thing that I do want to showcase, but I'm not going to really talk too much about because we are going to do another video. And that video I can go in depth of actually like making music and stuff. So like I don't have to just be like, oh yeah, this button, you know, it makes a noise, and this button, you turn it, it's great. No, I get to actually have a full-fledged thing, which I'm excited to present. But this is the Digitac 2. I did get another synthesizer and it was not modular, and I am really happy about that. I staved away my savings for another day. So this guy's been great. It's a sampler. Again, it's by Electron. I honestly adore Electron simply because it's one of the easiest synthesizers to quickly make things without thinking too hard, so you can just have fun and there's no like learning curve manual thing. I almost did get into a huge modular rig, and I think the thing that stopped me, you know, because again, it's like until I get committed in and I start having a band and all this stuff, like sure, fine, I'll go into the rabbit hole then. But I remember jamming with one of my friends, and then we were like, okay, but we got this new module, and it was like another friend like lent him this like crazy rig, and we had to, I think half of the jam session was looking at manuals. We were just looking at manuals to turn on a knob, to know what this patch goes to what, how to do CV control. And again, when it paid off, it was amazing. It's like visually cool. It's like, you know, I get it. I want it too. But like, yeah, you know, I do jams with this. I make music in 5 minutes. 5. And then we just spend all that time noodling on stuff and making noises. And I like making noises a little bit more than reading manuals. That's just me. Maybe that will change one day. But I really like this box for that reason. And yeah, we will be doing another video where I will be making a lot of beep boop noises. And if you want to kind of see my creative process in that, or again, just like, if you also kind of resonate heavily with I just want to like push things and like make sounds, and I don't really care if it like sequences well or makes sense until you eventually get good at it. Yeah, check out this video. Thank you guys for checking out my favorite things. All of my cohort friends are also doing theirs this year, obviously. Please check out their stuff too, and I guess I will see you soon, next year.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to tell you about some brand new merch we have. One of my favorite things we've ever produced are our demerit badges, which are scout badges for messing things up, as we all do. They're bestsellers, and we started out selling them as patches, then we moved to stickers, and now, ladies and gentlemen, we have demerit badge magnets for your fridge or your machines, and we started out with a 4-pack of our greatest hits. You can find these right now at tested-store.com.